O.M. Jizzle, ladies and zers and gentlemen, men of all, well, not all ages. In fact, if you're a child, get the fuck out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Michael Harlow is joining me again. It's been almost a year since he's been on Conservatish.
How is that possible?
I don't know, but I've been on your show a number of times, and we've always had a blasty poo.
Yeah, come back on it.
What is your show called? It's Microaggressed?
Well, you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there. It's microaggressed.
Mike hyphen or apostrophe.
No apostrophe there. See, you're putting the wrong apostrophe.
Listen, English is my second language, and you
don't know my show name. That's okay.
You're being racist. I'm a Spanish. I'm Latino.
You're transphobic.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conservatish episode 255. Wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe. Hi, Leah. Hi, Joseph Santos. Hi, Giorgio. Hi, Medi. Hi, there was someone else who commented above. I can't remember. Oh, Pussy Monster. That's right.
Pussy Monster, the Pussy Monster.
Every time I do a live stream, I don't know who this guy is, but God bless his heart.
I always thought you were the Pussy Monster, but you're apparently just a Pussy Monster. We have the Pussy Monster.
We have the official. I've finally been seceded. Seceded? Yes. Anyway, Michael Harlow, please plug yourself. Tell everybody where they can find you. Who are you? What you're doing here?
Who am I? That's a good question. I don't know anymore. But also hi to our loves other than the Pussy Monster, Giorgio Quattrocento, our beloved Leah. Good to see you guys. Yeah, follow my stuff if you guys feel so inclined. I'm a writer, artist. I make videos ranting about things and stupid little comedy videos. I have a Substack now that I'm writing. So it's mikeharlow.substack.com. I have locals that we're starting Zoom hangouts and movie nights tomorrow. So support my stuff, my YouTube channel. We were talking about this before. I'm trying to do the Rumbles, but the Rumble's a little complicated.
It is. And it's also, hang on. I'm putting your handle in the thing. Here we go. There it is. mikeharlow.substack.com and at not Mike Harlow on the Twitter. Yeah, we're trying to fucking branch out, but it's hard up in this bitch. I do Rumble. Apparently right now I'm on Rumble, where I should be. Leah says your writing is amazing.
Too nice.
What am I, a chopped liver, Leah? The fuck?
What? You got to get on there. Oh, did you see, by the way, can we talk about what happened? Did you hear what happened with Substack?
No, what happened?
It's so funny because I started mine maybe like 2 weeks ago or something. And I've been telling you and I've been telling everybody, you got to get on Substack. It's the last it's the last sort of mainstream platform that's not suppressed and shadow banned. And 2 days later, they decide they're going to ban all Substack from Twitter. You can't post the links. You can't post shit because they're a competitor.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's not the wokeness, it's the cross promotion. I see.
It's capitalism.
Yeah, but okay, but I don't understand Leon's. I don't understand Homeboy's move there because a lot of people go to Twitter anyway. It's not like we're leaving Twitter. Substack is a very different platform. Nobody reads one person's post that lasts 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Well, and I believe that they're trying on Substack. They have a new feature that they're trying to do short form like tweets, but nobody's going to use that. Just like nobody's going to use Twitter for Substack. Nobody's going to use Substack for Twitter. You're not going to go to Substack to read like 2-sentence things.
Right. So your first writing that you put out a little bit ago was how to survive 10 ways to survive a woke mob, right?
Yes.
Can you give us at least a couple of steps in your process to tease it?
I feel like I kind of wrote it at a good time because I know some people who could use it. I know a couple people in the last week who've been under fire.
Right.
And they're just doing the exact opposite of everything you should. So yeah, I think most importantly, do not apologize. Do not ever apologize to these people. The apology is the confession. Your apology is your scalp that they will hang on their mantle. Don't do it. Just say no to them. Do not capitulate. And I think one that we've talked about, probably will more, is take care of yourself and don't internalize the things that they call you, and don't allow politics or the culture war to just consume your life. You need to have other things. I mean, God, how many people have we seen just go crazy from this?
Yeah, I mean, the one I always go back to is Milo. I mean, just because, I always say it like this, just because we vote the same way doesn't mean that you don't have to, like, okay, we need to understand in this game, in this culture war fight, that liberalism is just a symptom. It's just a symptom. It's not the actual disease. Communism is just a symptom. It's not the actual disease. Underneath, if you scratch a little bit, you'll find fear. You'll find depression. You'll find self-pity. You'll find boredom. You'll find laziness. You'll find irresponsibility. You'll find all that stuff.
You'll find prescription drugs.
You'll find prescription drugs, and you'll be on a CIA list that, oh yeah, we knew about them, but anyway, ban the guns. But that's the actual problem. And I'm not saying it isn't fun to take swipes. It's always fun to take swipes. You know me. Y'all know me. I rag on white liberals fucking constantly. I get that. But I have an understanding outside of the meme sphere, which is just a hyperbolic, catchy two-line, whatever joke, that what's really driving them is their good intentions. What's really driving them is their heroism. What is heroism underneath that? It's a need for validation. Well, gee golly, why do they need validation? Because they feel unvalid. If you don't fix the feeling of being unvalid, then you can't fix it by just going, you're trying to be you're trying to, what's the word? Virtue signal. Well, yeah, but what are they getting? What are the juice? What is the feeling they're getting from virtue signaling? And how do we fix that insecurity?
And it's so many things, I think, collectively that have led us here. It's sort of just this deep cultural rot that has brought about so many problems. We have so many things that we've just allowed to go on for decades and decades that nobody would say no. We've basically just removed all boundaries, all standards from society, and then we're surprised at the outcome.
Right. I also want to put out a quick shout out, everybody. We just realized just now, U.S. ends national emergency around COVID. We made it, everybody. We've been fucking making it for 3 years.
Travel?
That I don't know, but I know that the emergency has been ended.
I think that's what it is. My friend Kieran has been trapped in the UK for 3 years because he wouldn't get them.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's that's the worst. The fact that America is still doing that is
right. I'm pretty sure we're the only ones still doing it too.
Right. Because
other than maybe like North Korea, I don't know.
Right. Because not only is it fun to bully people, right, but it also, you have to keep up with the woke Joneses. You have to. It's quite literally virtue signaling. Well, if we give up this, then
it's luxury beliefs. It's the new Birkin bag, having a trans child. That's how they keep up with the Joneses. That's how they show their submission to the group.
I'm gonna cut off my son's pee-pee, and now I'm important. Yeah. And moms have known this for a long fucking time. You ever talk to moms? I know you're kind of one in a way. But you're
only yours.
All of us. Yes. And hello to My Name is D. Aloha and ahoy from Pirate Radio.
Hi to our beloved Chris Rowland.
Yes. So glad he's here.
He's amazing.
But yeah, Pirate Radio is the bomb.
Here?
No, My Name is D is James Pirate Radio, who was actually on last week talking about the Trump arraignment, or you know what it is. What was I saying? It was really important.
Moms.
Oh yeah, moms have known this. When you get into when you have a child, right, and you look around and like, I need to get to know some moms. I want to kind of get to know some moms, and you enter a mom group, and it's the most toxic fucking place because it's all about my virtue, and I am this, and I've given my son 48 vaccinations, and I've done, and I put him in a helmet as he's eating pizza. There's a hierarchy, there's a competition, there's a toxicity, and especially a toxic femininity, ladies, that has been prevalent throughout mom groups for a long, long time. And that same thing is now infiltrating into our sphere through trans children.
There's a great Black Mirror episode about what happens when you try to remove all adversity and all negative experiences from a child, and it shows the outcome of that. Of course, it was pre-COVID. Now you would never be allowed to show such a thing.
Right.
But, you know, they may have removed the restrictions, but just wait for the new ones. Just wait for, I mean, Fauci has been going on TV every single day talking about the next pandemic. So they're already planning it.
Right. Although I do have to say some of that could be just like, make sure not to stop. Don't stop being afraid, everybody. You have to keep being afraid so we can take advantage of your fear and you know, and have more power and money.
And I think it's very possible that they're removing stuff now in anticipation of 2024 to go, oh, look, well, we removed them before. Look how reasonable we were. So you know it's for real this time.
Right. Please give us.
By the way, I finally got COVID a couple months ago.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
I was like the last person. It was like, it sucked for a couple days, but it wasn't even like top 20 worst colds I had ever had.
Can we also, since we're talking about the emergency powers, it hasn't been a fucking emergency since March of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, let's have a fun little reminder. Do you guys remember in March of 2020 when we saw video of people in China passing out in the streets? Do you remember that video of people in China being like boarded up in their houses because there's this terrifying new disease running rampant in China, blah, blah, blah. And it made everybody afraid. Falling down in the streets. Sounds a little fabricated, doesn't it? Now that we know what, you know, right? It sounds a little...
Speaking of fabricated, remember all those videos we saw of all the overwhelmed hospitals that we were told about? Me neither.
No.
How is it? I'm just saying, how is it that, I mean, think of any major event, any crisis throughout all of history. You could go back 100 years. 9/11, you can see footage and video and photos of the planes, of the rubble. The AIDS crisis, you can see photos of people dying in hospitals and people lined up. The Holocaust, even, you can see photos. Has there ever been another major event in history where there's nothing? There's nothing. We were told for how long about all the overwhelmed hospitals? Show me a photo. Show me a video of the overwhelmed hospitals.
We know that they were videoing. We know that they were videoing TikTok dances.
Yeah, right? They were overwhelmed.
Remember the hospital boat that they brought into New York that never got used. And I'll bring this a step further because the thing that we need to all remember. We talk about taking advantage on this show, right? Joseph Santos talking about fear and political, all that stuff. We talk about taking advantage of because anytime you're emotional, you can be led around by the ear, right? It's easier for governments and media and liars to take advantage of you. Let's not forget that I couldn't eat at a restaurant for 9 months, right? Let's not forget that Mike wasn't able to work, right? At your job because you weren't chemically pure, right? Let's not forget
that that was the problem that I was.
Oh, right. Right. There was that guy.
Remember that winter when we went out to dinner and in 2021 in the igloo outside and they wouldn't let me in the restaurant to pee? I had to go and find a park to piss on a tree. So, and I think too, I really think a lot of people, because is it just me or is this shit just kind of been swept under the rug that we've kind of forgotten? They segregated people.
Right.
And it's just been forgotten, I feel like. So I think a lot of us have not really begun to sort of process the traumatic shit that we went through in the last couple of years, the levels at which we have been deceived and lied to.
Right. And not only that, but what's worse, I do also want to throw in a quick thing. You know, I tweeted about it the other day, but like a lot of people in the game are upset that more non-liberals or people who woke up during COVID still voted a certain way, right? In 2022, I mean, I don't think that actually happened. I'm sorry, guys. I don't think that actually happened. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'm actually like, even in New York, okay, people did not like Kathy Hochul. Nobody likes Kathy Hochul. Nobody likes Eric Adams. Nobody liked de Blasio. Okay, it's just we're being swindled again, and so all this like, oh,
So you think it was
go ahead.
fortified?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if it's all digital and we're talking about CDBCs, right? We're talking about, or CDBC. Yeah. We're talking about digital currencies. We're talking about how that can be swindled. We're talking about how the IRS wants to look into your Venmo account. You shouldn't, right? Even though the Treasury lost, what was it? A couple fucking billion or trillion. I can't even remember. They're just like, it's gone. The Pentagon's like, oh, we don't know where that went. Tee-hee, right? So we're talking about how those things can be manipulated and used to attack us. Why are we forgetting about the most important thing? I'm sorry, but it is the most important thing. Even, and I said this in 2020, even if the informed group conscience, the group conscience of America said, yeah, we want to go for Biden, I'll be mad, but I'll be like, okay, if this is legit votes, fine. This is what you want. Great. Now and now watch, right? And you rub your hands together and be ready to say, I told you so. But those votes were not legit. They just weren't. He didn't campaign, right? And I know we've talked about it for 3 years. I get it. It's 2023 right now, but we're coming up on an election and everybody's squawking out the side of their fucking neck, talking about how like, oh yeah, and I know how you feel about Trump. I'm not going on a rant, but I'm just going to say a lot of people in the game have been saying, oh, the Trump arraignment is going to do wonders for it doesn't fucking matter how mad we are, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter how hypocritical the left is. If our elections are not secure, it doesn't matter who runs. It doesn't matter how angry we get, right?
But it all comes back to sort of the main problem of the duopoly is that one party has no brains and the other party has no balls. They allowed this to happen. Yes, there is plenty of shady shit, plenty of fortifying, but in my view, the crux of the issue is that it was stolen legally. This was allowed to happen. When they were changing all these laws with voting procedures, that should have been the fight of their lives for Republicans. And I have to say, it pains me to say this because I cannot stand these people. However, I wish that we could get a party with the populist right ideas, but the neocons balls. Because do you remember the Bush and Cheney people, as evil and horrible and destructive for the country as they were, when they wanted something, they damn well fucking got it.
They went on a hunting trip.
He shot someone in the face. They would mow people the fuck down. Do you remember that Bush versus Gore shit? That happened because they made it happen.
Right.
Where are those people? I mean, they're horrible and they're all globalists and they like want to screw us over. But God, can't we get like some of that, of those balls back?
In fact, I remember a few months ago when George Bush called Zelensky our generation's Winston Churchill. So gross.
Oh, when they have the pictures of like Michelle Obama and George W. Bush at the baseball game. But anyway. Again, that's sort of what I keep going. And it's frustrating because I don't care what anybody says about like, oh, both parties, whatever. I am a Republican. I am staying a Republican. I want people to vote Republican. As horrible as the party is, that's why we have to stick with them and change it from the inside. However, the thing that I keep going back to when I think about the last few years, when it comes to the election, when it comes to COVID, this was allowed to happen. I 100% blame Republicans and the right because the left is going to do what the left does. Democrats are going to do what they do. Where are we?
Scott Pressler is doing a bunch of great stuff. And one of the things he's doing is he's
the one hope in the party.
Election harvesting or ballot harvesting. What is he doing? Yeah. Can you explain what that is? Because I have no idea what that is.
oh God, trying to explain that is like, so it's basically like you go to, this might be a very bad description. You go to places and basically give out their ballots or take their ballots. See, this is why we lose. I'm talking about being a Republican and I can't fucking explain it to you. But I think it's basically like you go to like an apartment complex or something like that. And
you bring, yeah.
So
So
it's like
similar.
mass balloting.
Right. I remember we saw a few James O'Keefe videos of Democrats ballot harvesting, and they would say specifically, which they're not technically supposed to do, yeah, just put it down, just put the Democrat, just write the, yeah. And they were like coaching people. But I don't remember anyone coming to my motherfucking door. You know what I mean? I had to go out and find my own research and then go to the polling place and things like that.
Oh, I remember lots of people coming to my door. The Democratic Socialists, the
really?
Democrats, like all of them. It drives me crazy. And I do think that Lee Zeldin did a much, much, much better job than past Republicans did here. However, for years, this is just reality here that they do nothing. You have Democrats, on every corner proselytizing, and we're Republicans.
Now, here's an element I'd like to get your thoughts on. And it's part of the reason why we used to like Trump. And I'm not, again, I'm not starting a fucking whatever, but I am saying this.
I will.
Mark Hughes, my friend, your friend, brought up an interesting point once on the show. He said that the reason why the right loses is because they're afraid of being called racist. They're afraid of being called transphobic. They're afraid of, right? They want to tiptoe and be like, but look, I'm trying to help people, I'm trying to, right? Whereas the Democrats aren't afraid of that at all, right? They're not afraid of being called the snowflake. They're just going full bore. And no matter, here's a good example. White liberals right now, the ones who are the anti-racists, are fighting to disarm black people and yet still think that they're anti-racist, right? And what do you mean disarm black people? Black women are the fucking fastest growing demographic of gun ownership in America and have been for like a year and a half, okay? And you motherfucking white pieces of, I know my fans get all mad when I fucking, it's not just white people. Shut the fuck up. Yes, it is. Listen to my fucking words. Them motherfuckers are the ones who call themselves the allies, and yet they want to make them vulnerable and powerless against not just criminals, okay, but also a potential and a realistic tyrannical government. Okay, police are white supremacists, but also you should only rely on police for protection. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I've got one better for you. They segregated black people. They literally segregated black people. When they instituted the mandates in New York, it was 3/4 of black people that were unvaccinated. Do you ever hear Republicans talk about that? Do you ever hear anyone mention that? And we've been told, and don't forget, they are the one. It was Democrats who told us that it's a racial issue, because we've been told for so long by them that if a policy disproportionately impacts people of color, that it is systemic racism. They segregated people in a systemically racist way. And everyone was just fine with that. Like I said, we just sweep it under the rug, pretend it never happened, and they're allowed to do that because there's no opposition.
Right.
It's maddening.
It's maddening, and we do need to let it out, everybody. And that's what me and Mike Harlow are here for. But also, one of the reasons why, not just because I love Mike Harlow and I love all the conversations we have, go follow him at not Mike Harlow on Twitter. What's your locals, by the way, Princess?
MikeHarlow.locals.com. We're having a Zoom hangout tomorrow, and it's going to be a regular weekly thing. So next week we'll do movie night. You have to join us for movie night. I don't
think you could handle it, but
we're not. No, they can't. We're a cool group.
Okay, but here's part of the problem. Every time we've watched a movie, you make me watch something that's horrendous.
You know what I was thinking we need to watch in my locals? Have you heard of the movie Karen?
No. Oh no, I think I did hear about it. Yeah.
It's a woke horror movie. I think it's horrific for different reasons than they intended, though. Oh, it looks amazing.
Right. But part of the reason why I wanted to have you on is, and wherever you're listening, everybody subscribe or you're racist. But one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because in this fight, in this game, a lot of the people who are on our side, who watch, who stream, who comment, who whatever. I mean, the fans.
Oh, I thought you meant
no. Yeah, those guys.
I thought you meant like the Charlie Kirks.
No, but well, and maybe he's a good example of what I want to talk about. But a lot of y'all don't understand what non-liberal creators go through, right? And so I wanted to kind of talk about what. Yes, it's very difficult to be vocal in this way. What's up, Daniel De La Fay?
Where?
He's in the comments, Princess.
What, on Rumble?
No, I don't know where he's at. YouTube.
Oh, there he is. Hey.
But a lot of people don't understand the struggle that we go through, and I want to illuminate a little bit here. And I think it ties back to what we were talking about, but maybe it doesn't. And I'm tired, so fuck all of you. But the other day, last week, 2 weeks ago, I had Dykes on the Right on my show on CONSERVATISH, right? Now, they're wonderful ladies. Love them to death. And I had 2 reels taken down in the last 4 days of those women who call themselves dykes. I had those reels taken down because they said the word dyke. Now, after appealing, because maybe it was just the bot, right? After appealing, both times it was confirmed. We looked at it and it's confirmed to be hate speech. Now, not only is Dykes on the Right's handle on Instagram at Dykes on the Right, right? And Instagram's fucking okay with that for some reason, which they should be. But also the hashtag DYKE has 675,000 posts attached to it. 675,000. So why is Instagram okay with those but not ours? Now, part of the reason I'm wanting to illuminate this is because in this game, it's not enough. If you're listening to Mike and I voice right now, it's not enough to just stream. Thank you. We love you. We need it. But in this game, it's too easy. The Charlie fucking Kirks of the world, okay, who has financial backing, right? That's his job.
Beyond what you can conceive, financial backing.
Right. The Charlie Kirks and the Ben Shapiros and the Steven Crowders of the world, although they're wonderful gateway drugs, say what you want.
We're the real shit.
We're the real shit because they say what you want them to say. They say what they know is going to get clicks. And obviously we do a little clickbaity, whatever. We all got to do it. But they only stick to what's good for their audience because they want that fucking stream. They are bought, right? And you and I don't do that. You piss off your side sometimes. I piss off my side sometimes, right? And not only that, but we also face the censorship on a strong level. So can you give me some of the, I mean, we all know that it's famed how many times Michael W. Harlow has been kicked off of social media. But can
20 permanent bans across platforms and counting.
20 permanent bans.
And I've beat every single one.
Can you give us your juiciest?
Screw.
Yeah, fuck them. Can you give us your juiciest banning?
I think my favorite was, the thing is, all my bannings are stupid. Like, there's nothing. People will ask me what I get banned for, and I'm like, literally nothing. Because if you have a and I've been saying this for years, and I think now we know it from the Twitter file. We do know it from the Twitter files that their strategy basically is to go after more up and coming people like you, people like me, people like Dangerous Rhetoric. Initially, when the censorship started, they were going after the Milos and the Alex Joneses, but that sort of changed at some point along the way. So with me, I think basically if they don't have a reason to get you, they'll make one up. So I think my favorite ones, I was banned from Instagram for sexual content for a fully clothed picture, like this picture of the neck up.
Not even the nips? You didn't even show the nips?
Oh no, that's fine apparently. I was banned for holding an American flag in a picture. That was hateful content. Twitter, they would just make stuff up that they were like, I was banned for evading my first one. I was banned for evading a suspension. I never had a suspension at that point. So it's all been kind of strange. TikTok. So I tried TikTok out for a little bit. I know. I figured that's where the libs are. That's where I want to be. TikTok really does not like parody. They will get you on parody. Like I've had videos where I just repeat someone's words and no good. Yeah, but I feel like at this point I've kind of sort of learned how to maneuver it ever so slightly. It's because a lot of times it's just been sort of individual words that they like, a word like dyke or something. So this is actually something that I wrote about in my last Substack essay, is that I think you kind of have to look at the greater good. And sometimes I think it's the stronger thing to live to fight another day. It sucks to have to, maybe star a word, but you have to kind of look at which is more important, to say that word unstarred or to have my voice here. It sucks. And that is the sort of self-censorship that they try to instill in people. But sometimes you got to use their games against them.
And I totally do that. I mean, DYKE is a word that has 675,000. Like there's you know what I mean?
Word,
Yeah. But then the other thing that y'all maybe don't know, and again, I'm not gonna rag on our fans. I'm so happy that we're here. But sometimes another element to the fight that Mike and I have. All artists have doubt. Okay, all artists have sometimes crippling self-doubt about, is this any good? Am I any good? Is what I'm creating and spending literally? So I've at times in my career, I've spent hours on a meme, hours of like tweaking it and adding some music and changing to this and changing to that, and then I post it. And even though I have 14.3 thousand followers, I get 25 likes. You know what I'm saying? Like this is and so already I have the built-in insecurity. Already I have the built-in doubt, right? And then you add that on top of it, and it's just like, see, they're wanting to confirm an artist's self-doubt.
Yes, they want you to stop. And it's very demoralizing too. And especially this kind of, I think, goes to show another major weakness on our side, is that most people don't fight for people who are banned, who are deemed wrong thinkers or the bad people. The moment that I had my first ban, it was palpable. I could feel people disconnecting from me. They didn't want to be attached to the stain of the banning, and that's a major problem. I think if we would have fought hard for every single person who was censored and banned, we would be in a very different situation. But now we've gotten so used to it that it's not even news when somebody gets banned from something anymore.
Right.
And I think also so it's so demoralizing, but I think you kind of have to look at the upside of it too, and look at it in the best way you can. Like for me, it's very frustrating that I wasn't on Twitter in 2020 when I was traveling the whole country and going to the White House and was at the RNC and stuff. I'd probably have 100,000 followers or more. However, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I think the people who follow me now really get me and really understand who I am and what I have to say. I think if I would have had all those 2020 followers, they would have kind of just been sycophanty for the party line. I will never forget, and because for me, I'm not here to spout anyone's talking points. I have no agenda other than speaking my mind. I never started doing this for any politician or anything like that. So in 2020, I was traveling the entire country trying to get Trump elected, the most passionate Trump voter in the world. But I'm always going to be honest with people who follow me. I'm always going to speak my mind. So when the first debate happened, I spoke my mind and said, I think this was the disaster of all disasters. I think he just handed it to Biden. I can't believe he let this happen. And I got all these people that were like, I'm unfollowing you. You're a leftist. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want followers like that. So I'm kind of glad I was banned throughout that time. And I'll just build more slowly and let people follow me who like me for me, not because they like me saying things that they agree with.
Can I also add this? Because I've had that experience a lot recently with gaining 12,000 followers in a couple of months because a couple of videos went viral. Which it's about time, you fucking ungrateful bastards. But with that, I've gotten an influx of motherfuckers who don't understand, right? And get all up in arms. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I posted a meme about circumcision. Now, it's not something I feel like crazy strong about, but I'm like,
do.
Well, check. This is the thing I think about. The meme I made was, it says at the top, conservatives, kids aren't old enough to consent to life-altering surgeries. And then I said, also conservatives. And it's a guy with a sword, coming down. So, right now, do I believe that? Fuck yeah.
Same.
Right. But then a bunch of myopic cunts came swinging in, assuming that because I made a meme criticizing their side, I must be a liberal. And I'm like, bro, you're new. You're new. Number one. Number two, I had a bunch of people come in swinging, taking it very personally, which I understand. I guess that's a contentious topic. I knew it was going to be a little contentious. I didn't think it was going to be
people get
contentious.
Very touchy about
I think they're defensive. But maybe we could talk about that. But the other thing is, a lot of people, I think I lost probably 20 to 25 to 50 followers over that meme. But like you, I don't want those types of people. That's not to say I only want people who agree with me, but on a fucking spiritual, mental, emotional level, I only want motherfuckers who can hang, right? Who can hang.
Yeah.
If you can't handle watching literally less than 10% of shit you would disagree with, Nico House, love that motherfucker.
I love him.
Love that motherfucker. I've had him on the show multiple times. He's a beautiful.
My favorite lefty.
Exactly my favorite lefty. And 1 out of every 10 posts, I'll roll my eyes. Fucking Nico. But number one, I'm about to see another post of his that I completely agree with. And number two, I like him. I'm down. I'm sold on him. And even if I had a conversation with the motherfucker about that topic that I roll my eye, kind of joke around with, he would probably not turn me, but I would at least understand where he's coming from. And I wouldn't need to be like, I only have to follow people I agree with 100% of the time. Like, mature. We need to mature on our side,
That's so true. And that's why we end up with Charlie Kirk's.
Right.
But I honestly do think, I could be wrong because I've been saying this for quite a while now, but I do think that most people are getting sick of these sort of flapping heads that talk and do nothing. And I will give credit. I get he's sort of contentious, but I will give credit. I think somebody like Matt Walsh, he talks, but he does a lot too. He walks the walk, But a lot of these people, like Charlie Kirk, Turning Point, $40 million a year for activism. Where's the activism? Yeah. It bothered me a little bit because, like I said, traveling all of 2020, when it mattered most, and I'm like, I'm fucking nobody. Where are all these people with their $40 million a year?
Right.
Nowhere.
Right. All I've seen from Turning Point is a couple of tables at at college campuses, which a fold out table is like $15.
40 million a year.
Yeah, a couple of mics, and maybe okay, they book a place for a conference, but people pay tickets to get into the conference, so that pays for itself and then some. So what? Where's the money going? Anyway,
not to anything good.
Right. And here's another thing that I don't think is I don't think is just me trying to make us feel better. Although I do like my life, I like my career, blah, blah, blah. Anytime someone who hasn't earned their fans like you and I have does something not great or potentially contentious, cancelable, people actually cancel them. People actually leave them, right? Whereas you know, I've said this in a joking way, but it's totally true. If people, because they know me, my fans know me, if people caught, like if I got caught, if I got caught, Pete had sex with a married woman or something, nobody would be surprised. No, they'd be like, oh, Pete. No one would unfollow me because they're like, why'd you get caught? Come on, Pete. You shouldn't do that. You know,
Me, they would be like, we heard this story from him weeks ago.
you're right. Right. And that's what I mean. There's more investment from our fans because we're honest.
Yeah. I sometimes think about like how I had this crazy bitch traveling with me for a year collecting blackmail, anything she could on me, and she got nothing. The most she had was somebody spent the night with me once.
Shock horror.
I'm like, yeah, you can go back on my Facebook and read the story from like 2 years ago.
Right. Which, by the way, out of all the gays I know, you are the least slutty. And I gotta say, I don't know. I don't be offended. Aren't you the one who's like, oh, you know, Grinder is, you know, killing gays, blah blah blah.
It is.
Okay. Well, then shouldn't you take that as like a, you know, compliment of some kind?
I'm a whore on the inside. I'm spiritually slutty.
Spiritually slutty.
That's me.
So that's part of the struggle. The external, the internal, it's all kinds of shit. But it's just I think I also want to wanted to talk about this because I've also gotten some of the, and you've known this because you've been more famous than I for a longer time. I might be the least slutty, actually. Daniel says, all right, okay, maybe.
I think me and Daniel are similar, that we're slutty on the inside, less so in practice. Does that make sense?
Yes. Do you think maybe it was because you, on first dates, you show people that you were in Avril Lavigne video?
When I was 14.
All right. I'm just saying, you know.
I do not.
Although one time I was in a van with a girl. She was giving me a ride over to my place.
Oh, I bet she was giving you a ride.
I did fuck her very nicely, and I wrote a song about it. But besides that, at one point before we fucked, she puts on the way to my place, she puts on "Hey Now You're an All-Star." Not ironically, she put that on. But of course I'd still fuck her. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you know, I'll bang the cringe out of her.
Your deal breaker?
No, absolutely not. No, she was delicious. She was blonde. Anyway.
Can I say, by the way,
please.
I think that is something that I like about you, and I'm going to throw myself in there and some other people too, is that I like that we talk about more than stupid politics, because I think that it's important. Somebody gave me shit for this this last week, that on my Substack I had written a story that was kind of like a personal dating related story. And they were like, oh, this isn't what I subscribe to you for. I'm like, then unsubscribe, because I think the woke ideology, leftism, has invaded every single facet of our lives, every aspect of culture, that even when you're not talking about it, even when you're not talking about politics, I think it's important to just bring the perspective of who you are and your values and your philosophy that isn't this sort of woke leftist hedonistic one. I think it's important to talk about love and culture and dating and film and art and all of these other things. I think it is equally as important to talk about apolitical topics. And a lot of these people, I just can't. It's just all politics all the time. My goal is to never have to talk about politics again. I want things to just change and be better, so none of us ever have to fucking talk about this shit again. I'm sick of it.
Right. And on a couple of levels, what are we fighting for if we're just going to keep fighting after we win? What's the fucking point? I'm fighting for connection, love, spirituality, fucking, music, art, comedy. That's what makes life beautiful. Why am I fucking right? I don't give a shit. I mean, I do give a shit, and knowing me, I'll find something to complain about. But ultimately, I'm a creator first. I'm a creator first, and that's what I always talk about with the fucking stupid fucking shit ass fuck Trevor Noah. The reason why nobody liked Trevor Noah is because it was a preach. It was a constant preach. It was comedy like a far second. and first in the seat was message, and that's why nobody liked that motherfucker.
It's so depressing too, seeing like a lot of the people who were kind of, you know, they were leftists, but they were better than that back in the day. Like Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart. I thought he was always leftist, but I thought he was a bit better than that. Like, remember maybe, God, like 10, 15 years ago, he had this whole thing about how like, I'm going to butcher it, but I remember they had some event or something, and he had a sign that was like, I disagree with you, but I'm pretty sure you're not Hitler. That would never happen now. Now he's the first one saying you want to kill children.
Right.
Yeah, yesterday we were trying to kill grandmas. Now we're trying to kill children.
Right. That's really what it is. By the way, if you're trans and you're listening to this, you're being used. You're just the new used. That's all. They did it to black people in 2020. They did it to Asians in 2021. Stop Asian hate. They did it to Jews last year with the fevered Kanye, fevered. Anytime you feel that fevered, that's a little sign, might be a psyop. You might, and I'm not saying that racism's good. I'm not saying that kids should die at fucking school from a gun. I'm saying look at the emotion and take a sniff it and take a step back, because you may be used by governments and media who like it when you're afraid. They like it.
It's so funny too how even when I would otherwise agree on a topic like the Kanye shit, like I agree that he's anti-Semitic, but they take it to set that you have like fucking Jamie Lee Curtis sobbing about it on the chat. Like, you're a grown woman, like you're sobbing because you heard words.
Yeah.
It's such bullshit.
Right. And also, I'm a half spick. If someone like gets mad at me for something, like, oh, fucking, you know, says something racist, I'm like, okay. Like, it's so rare that it happens, number one. And number two, and maybe that's just because I'm racially ambiguous, but it's so rare that it happens. And also, I have so much more important shit to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, so much more. That's what I mean, I'm not saying that the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney thing isn't fun to make memes about, or not, or that we should buy Bud Light, I guess. Whatever the fuck. Who fucking cares? Someone pointed out, someone tweeted, they're like, just to be clear, the French are occupying Black Rock, and we're throwing our Bud Light down the drain, right? I'm just saying, if we're gonna focus on action.
I've split feelings on that, because on the one hand, I think boycotts are very cringy. Something about it I don't like. However, the left does it, so we might. So I don't know how I feel about that. But I agree. It's sort of like all these people always commenting, sort of elevate people like Dylan Mulvaney, who, by the way, like is cringy and annoying and insufferable, but is not nearly the worst of these people. You want to see the worst of these people? Look at somebody like Jeffrey Marsh, but has been elevated to just be this superstar, probably one of the most famous people in this country right now. Is crazy. Right. And that I'm not part of that, because I've made videos about him. So hot is the kettle.
Right.
By the way, parentheses, Giorgio asked, no, this is not Coke with milk. It's cantaloupe juice that happens to be in a Coke bottle. I'm trying to quit drinking soda, so I'm making cantaloupe juice. It's
actually
good.
Wait, now that I think about it,
it's really good.
That might be pretty fucking legit. But why don't you have it in a regular can? You're mixing
it vodka,
oh. Carlin, she's gonna go on and he's mixing vodka with it.
That's so true.
I have no stake.
Caused it.
Right, I have no stake in the game, but I will just say, fuck that fat bitch. That's all I care about. So you can. No one ever talks. This is the other thing. Culturally, we never just call a motherfucker a fat bitch. We never do that, and we should do that more. Anyway,
bring back bullying is what I say.
She probably has. Have you ever thought about, like, you've never fucked a fat woman? Everybody cover your ears. But when the vagina is surrounded by meat, right? This is going to get real adult real quick, so everybody leave. But you can't access the clit as easily, right? So you kind of have to pry apart. Say this is, you have to pry apart like that and then get down to the clit, depending on how much fat there is around it, okay? Because it's a mound, right? So when you see somebody with a fupa, that's what that is, okay? Or a gund, it's also called. Now, imagine with all that fat and therefore sweat, okay? And therefore, it's getting real. And also, I guarantee she's not probably a shaver, right? She doesn't go get like it waxed, right? Because no one needs to be around that, right? But even getting out of the car at the wax place to European Wax Center to have somebody, there's gonna be some sweat, and there's gonna be some funk, right? So I'm just letting you all know that's what these. I have fucked fat girls before. I'm just saying I know what it's like. Okay, I'm not saying that she should hate herself, but I'm just saying why would you listen to somebody who's unfuckable anyway?
I love it.
This is why I'm not famous, by the way, because when I post shit like this, conservative patriots are like, but it says in the Bible you're not supposed to.
Why were you fucking fat chicks is what I want to know. I guess it's sort of the equivalent, or like fat guys where you have like the rolls that come over.
Listen,
not over the dick, but like too close for comfort.
Listen, I'm not saying that it was something I wanted to do, but a motherfucker gotta eat. This is what you don't understand about the life of the straight man, okay? A motherfucker gotta eat. And there's been days in my life where that's the best, you know, it's just like,
oh,
right.
You mean eat pussy? I thought you meant food, and that's how they got fat. I was about to be like, yeah.
Wait, what? Hang on. Wait. I'm talking about fucking fat chicks. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the pussy.
Yeah, I don't eat fat girls. No, thank you.
Wait, you mean like cannibals or eat the pussy?
I don't eat fat.
Like in a cannibal
I
way?
love my show.
Pussy way?
No, I'm saying I don't eat fat girls' pussy. Okay, I that's what I'm saying.
You're not. This is why you are not the pussy monster.
This is what, you know what? God damn it. Well, that's that circle back. Pussy monster. Make sure you comment about how many fat girls you've eaten now. I'm just saying that motherfucker got to eat. That's all I'm just saying. Now.
Oh, and she's been eating.
No, I'm saying when you're hungry, when you're, yes, I know, front porch conservative. This conversation just took a turn. This is what I'm saying. This is the Peter Feliciano area. And this is the Mike Harlow too. Although he is a bit more demure than I am. But if you're gonna enter the sphere, if you can't handle the heat, go. I love you and I release you with love.
He's awesome.
I only want motherfuckers who can handle a little bit of the Pete needs to meet Drex. Oh God, are we talking shit about somebody in the comments? I don't know who that is. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start to close down, I also wanted to say this is the other thing that was on my mind regarding being a creator. I've had maybe one or two. Oh, this is what I was going to say about you being in the sphere. When you get to a certain level, apparently, and I'm starting to realize this, you have less control over the narrative, right? Which is normal, it's natural human stuff. But you also have less control over what people take from the things that you say, from the memes you make, from the jokes you say, right? And I've had a couple people, when I post about getting kicked off or getting a post removed or being shadow banned, a couple of people swing in and say, yeah, well, I've been shadow banned too. Well, I've been censored too. And I just want to put this out there to you. You're not a creator, everybody. Okay. I've been kicked off of social media. Yeah, with 200 fucking followers, boy. And you don't create anything original. You grab someone else's shit and you put it on. And God bless you. But we're not the same. We're not the same.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like them doing that to enough people collectively is sort of one of the things that's brought us here, you know?
What do you mean?
That they do that to enough people. You could have 2 followers. Like, if they do that to enough people, that's everybody.
Absolutely. I'm saying I'm only talking about the commenters who swing in saying, stop complaining. I've been cut.
Oh, I hate that. Like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
well, and especially when you know, people like us get put out of other work and need to find work, you know, using our skills. Yeah, it's not just complaining for us, you know?
Right. Like, okay, I personally have Brentley has had his one channel nuked, and I'm on my third Twitter. Oof. God bless you, Brentley. But and I say God bless you because you're gay and you're going to hell. But one of the things that's frustrating is like, okay, I have spent tons of money on this. I'm not even monetized right now, everybody.
We need to change that.
Thank you, Brentley, for the bearded look comment. But I'm not monetized because I don't have enough streams in a year or whatever. So everybody make sure you put this on repeat and put it on mute in the
You
background.
probably have 10 times it in total. It's bullshit that they reset it every year.
Right.
I mean, you've done 200 something episodes.
Yeah, 255. This is 255. But I just say that to say, like, I've been paying to do this show for 4.5 years. It's been countless dollars and hours making memes and editing episodes and streaming and reaching out to people. And it's a lot of work outside of my day job, outside of, my life and sphere. So, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but just understand that if you're watching what Mike and I do and you love it, you gotta fucking help us. Just fucking help us. Whether it be Venmo, locals, comments, sharing on the underground tip with some friends, just fucking help. That's all.
I always hate, I'm glad you say that because I always hate like even sharing my stuff. So I try to always make sure that I'm like, doing enough stuff for it and giving enough stuff for it. Like we'll do hangouts and movie nights and stuff,
Absolutely.
What I was going to say, by the way, is like, what drives me crazy? And these are the people who become successful are the ones who it's just, I don't know what the right term would be. Low effort content, maybe like that, they have an article behind them on the green screen and they say a few words about the article. Like, I'm never going to do something like that. I don't know how to say this without sounding douchey, but I just feel like some people, a lot dangerous writer, a lot of people we are friends with, put a lot of work into. I slave over by writing my stuff and costumes and editing and all that. So it drives me a little bit crazy. I feel like I'm not to shit on those people. My point is, I feel like the only kind of way to be successful with content is it's like a sausage factory. These people who are just like streaming 24/7 and I don't know. I can't be creative on command like that. I feel like it's sort of, I don't know, quantity versus quality.
And we talked about this, I think, last week. Neither can they. Have you ever watched a live stream that wasn't like have you ever watched just people at a house or something? Like, it's like, bro, why are people watching this? This is, you're voyeurs. Like, porn is way more interesting than this, bro. If you want to be a voyeur, like, watch porn. Like, it's cool.
I don't understand these people. Leftists do this all the time, by the way, the ones on like Twitch and shit. I don't understand these people who stream for like 7, 8, 9 hours. I would get so sick of the sound of my own voice after like 3.
Right. I'm almost done after 1. Oh, we just unlocked monetizing you on YouTube. Oh, you did, Brentley. That's very sweet. You motherfucker.
Wait, what?
Brentley is rubbing it in my face. Dangerous rhetoric is rubbing it in my face, and not in the fun gay way. I'll end with this. If you're cool with going another minute, I think
I ain't got nowhere to be.
Because one of the things am I gonna name names? It's not really a name. It's not like I'm not talking. Will. Okay, well, all right then. I'll do this. It's not talking shit, but it kind of is. Let me elaborate, everybody. Here's what bothers me. Not just about the Charlie Kirks and the people I don't really like. Every once in a while, I'll see something on Charlie Kirk, and I'm like, all right, fine, yeah, I'll like that. But Zuby, I like Zuby. Let's make it 100% fucking clear. Even though I'm not famous yet, so it doesn't matter anyway. But I like the motherfucker. But I don't hear any of Zuby in Zuby's content. What do I mean by that? I talk about being a leftist before. I talk about mistakes that I make now. I talk about weird fucking secrets from when I was a kid. I talk about, there's only like a couple of fucking things. Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but what hooks me about the real motherfuckers, you, Brett, like all these people, Josh Slocum, they talk about their life. They talk about what's actually going on in their life. They let people in, right? The only thing I see with Zuby, and God bless his heart, I think he's great and really important in the movement. The only thing Zuby talks about is what they do. Look at what they did. Isn't that crazy? Here's what everybody should do. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But I feel no emotional connection to the motherfucker. And therefore, he's in my personal opinion, he's one of those people who, if shit came out that, oh, like Eliza Blue, I'm sorry, that was an example, right? Whether you feel it or not, you believe it or not, whatever. That was an example of somebody's posting a lot about out there. And even though they're right, I have no hook into you. There's a lack of investment on my end subconsciously because you're not really being you. Does that make sense what I'm trying to put forth?
Well, as Eliza Blue, I have just been trafficked once again. I am being held in captivity right now.
Why is she Southern? Why are you doing?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to take a swipe at the bitch. I'm just saying.
Well, her voice changes all the time. She had a black accent, and then I don't know.
Like Alec Baldwin's wife.
Oh, that's my favorite. What I would give for just like 30 seconds of hearing you face to face with Hilaria Baldwin to just tell her about herself. Oh, I would give anything.
That would be a lot of fun.
She is, oh my God, she is insufferable. Yeah. She's so committed to it also is what I love.
Yeah.
Hilaria.
Even after getting on blast. That's the thing about people. I think Alec is worse at it. Yeah. But when you're surrounded only by yes men, it rots the mind, And I don't think everybody pay attention. I think it kind of circles back to what I was just saying. Even if you're in the non-liberal game, you can be surrounded by yes men too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can be surrounded by motherfuckers who only want to hear what you, right? You can be surrounded by, sorry, it gets overused, but grifters do exist, right? You can be surrounded by leeches, and then you get, I am important. I am a mouthpiece. Oh, and you get flush with yourself, and then you get, and then when shit comes down and heat comes down, you can't handle it.
And see, I think that goes back to what I was saying before about why I'm kind of glad that I didn't get the benefits really of all my work in 2020 is that I feel like the people who do follow me, we're very honest with each other. They tell me when that outfit is hideous, that when I tell a story of being a crazy bitch, they say you're a crazy bitch. We're very real with each other.
Right.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right. And that's why I say nigger, by the way. I know you cut it off or whatever, or you say disavow. But before I was starting the shows, Patrice O'Neill had this great point. He was like, the reason why Michael Richards and Pee Wee Herman got in so much trouble back in the day was not because necessarily of the things that they did, but because they had a mask and the mask slipped. Michael Richards was this zany Kramer guy, right? Pee Wee Herman was this crazy kids entertainer, right? And all of a sudden,
what did Pee Wee do again?
Jerked off in a movie theater.
Oh, that's not that bad.
No, it was a porn movie.
I mean, not like that's like I'm saying, go out and do that. But
Michael Harlow said he masturbates at theaters.
That's gonna be on Carlin's Twitter as soon as I click off.
as she wipes Cheeto dust out of her vagina. I'm just mean for no reason. I don't even know the bitch.
At least it's not like he was, fucking kids or something.
No. But the reason why they got in so much trouble is because they had the mask and then the mask slipped. And that's why No, we don't. I mean, I have a couple of things that I keep just for my trusted peeps. I have a couple of this is just for my, my trusted friends, my spiritual mentors, things like that. But outside of that, I've talked about fucking being a peeping Tom when I was in high school. I've talked about fucking cheating before. I've talked about I've talked about being, the being afraid now. I've talked about how I take things too personally with social media sometimes. I talk about real shit, and I don't do that necessarily for only for my benefit. I think people relate to it and they hook onto it and whatever. But I also do it for me because I don't want to get caught being Peter Feliciano one day. I could absolutely jerk off in a theater. Me, right? Me and a girl, Pete Feliciano was having sex in public, in a car in a Denny's parking lot. Yeah, bro, I've done that shit. So, I'm not ruling it fucking in a Denny's parking lot in the future. So I'd rather let people know this is who I am now rather than get caught being me and let the mask slip. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, we don't have skeletons in our closet. We take them out and like do ballroom dancing with the skeletons. No, that was funny. The thing I was saying before about that certain fat lady, she posted this text from me with a picture of somebody. Which funny thing is, we didn't even have the sex, me and this guy. But because when I actually like someone, I'll hold off a little bit. But so anyway, it was like, and so it's like a picture of us in bed, and you see the text, and it's like at me going like, "Oh my god, I'm changing my flight," and because we stayed up all night watching Scream movies. I'm like, wow, I've been exposed. People are gonna be shocked to find that out.
Right. Some people are just jealous of attention and love. Some people don't have that in their lives. Speaking of attention and love, let's go ahead and start wrapping up.
Speaking of attention, can you hear my dog?
No.
Thank God. Oh my God. So my dog is like 100 years old, and he started doing this thing where he starts howling if I'm not in the room. It's driving me insane. So the past couple streams I do, he's in the next room howling, and I'm like, do I just go get him and hold him the whole time? It's so insufferable.
I mean, everybody would like to see your puppy.
You can't hear him. I'm glad you can't hear him though. He's just been howling this entire time.
I do hear that now that you put it out there. Can everybody else hear Mikey's dog?
I got to figure out a system. Maybe move his bed to the floor here.
Right. Or murder. That's another one.
No, he's a little old man.
Peter Feliciano said it made a joke about murdering dogs. I would make a joke about murdering and then fucking a dead dog, but I'm a conservative, and so conservatives have to be Jesus. Maybe my God's bigger than y'all's. Maybe.
First of all, we're conservatish. That's literally how we became friends. That I heard the name of your show and I was like, oh my God. It's like what these transes say when they heard the word trans for the first time. I'm like, oh my God, I heard conservatish for the first time and was like, that's me.
Yeah, because I don't want to be in a box. I don't want it. No. That's the whole reason why I'm not a leftist. I don't want to be in a fucking box, bro. Leftists love boxes, not only of your identity, your gender, your race, whatever, but also because eventually when the gulags get opened, those are boxes too, right? They love authoritarianism. God damn. Mm-hmm. Right? They're not the Freedom Party no more. Shit.
What I was going to say, though, is this is something I wrote about in my Substack essay about how to survive woke mob, is that I think, so first of all, these people, if they prey on people that they view as weak or people that they think they can intimidate, when they see that they can't intimidate a motherfucker like you, like me, like Daniel, like Brentley, like a bunch of people, they back the fuck up. What's interesting is that these people don't come after us in the same way that they once did. Maybe because they found new targets like beating up women, but because it's funny, I had a guest on my show the other day. She's amazing. This girl, Kelly, and they were all after her because of something she said that they were calling her a racist. So they were all bitching in my car. They were all coming at me. And I just tell them to fuck off, and they scurry away when you do that. So that's why I wrote that article. That's why just stand up to these people. The only thing that these people understand is strength. If they cannot walk all over you, you're untouchable.
Right. So how do we do that on a micro level, everybody? Make sure You take care of yourself, everybody. I don't care what it looks like, meditation, prayer, crystals, whatever the fuck, but just make sure you value yourself enough to not be taken advantage of or capitulate to these fucking monsters.
Just tell them to fuck off.
Right.
And they do.
They
most of them can't handle confrontation.
Right.
Even the ones like me and Brentley and Daniel were at a they had like a protest for the drag queen story hour, and even the ones who will like stand there and yell or whatever, when you fucking yell back at them, they run along.
Right. They're expect you to be
being able to intimidate people.
Right. And part of that, I do have to say, and this is why I use my Puerto Ricanness, my Latino,
Italian, my Guatemalaness.
My natural heat. But part of that is your gayness, right? The fact that let me explain. The fact that you're not a straight guy was part of the reason why your foot was able to stay in that door of that conversation. Now, you would have done it anyway. And Chris, Billboard Chris, all these, there's some strong motherfuckers in the game. I'm not saying that you're not strong, and that is enough. But I'm saying these white liberals are so myopic, and liberals in general, yes, they're so myopic that the only any defense or any criticism of their ideology, or even just an idea within their ideology, racist, you're white, so, or you're straight, so, or you're this, or you're that. So your identity, my identity, keeps my foot in the door just enough so that a fuck you can get through a volley across the bow.
You could be right. I don't know. I feel like they don't give a shit if you're gay anymore. It's all it's the trans world, and we just live in it. Just like they don't give a shit if you're a person of color. They're the ones who invented that term, but what they mean is black. They didn't actually mean any color. They meant the paper bag test.
Right. And why is it not okay to say colored, but it's okay to say people of color?
Do you remember that news anchor who got in trouble that she said colored instead of color, and she went on air sobbing, "I'm so sorry. Please educate me."
Right.
Oh my God. Can you believe somebody came into my comments on my last show and said, like, we should be thanking BIPOCs for educating us.
Ugh.
Like, thank your yuck, you fat bitch. That's why they run away, because they ain't gonna get nowhere with me.
They're not, and they know it, because what a bully is looking for is a soft target. Bullies, exactly. Micro is macro, boys and girls. What do we say on this show? Micro is macro. And when you look at the bullies in junior high, if you punch them back or you stand up to them, they stop, because, okay, am I going to take my anger and my, social awkwardness out on that guy? Well, he just punched me. You know what? I'll just go for the new guy. They go for someone else because they need to let that fucked up spiritual, emotional disease out. And when they realize you're not a fucking vessel for that, they stop.
And it's very popular, especially for gay people, to talk about, oh, I was bullied. Do you remember? That's sort of what came before wokeness, was the anti-bullying craze around like 2010, 2012, that it was all anti-bullying. And so especially for gay people, it's very trendy. So like all these people would say to me, oh, were you bullied in school? Like, bitch, if somebody tried to bully me, they tried once. Never again. Here's more fucking times than you could count. Right.
Well, I was bullied in school. And here's my experience. Even though I wasn't gay, even though I wasn't trans, even though I wasn't, and it certainly wasn't because of my Puerto Ricanness, it was because bullies like to bully motherfuckers. Okay? That's, again, symptom disease. The actual disease was motherfuckers like to bully, and I didn't know myself. That's what it was.
That's what I was going to ask. Were you Peter back then?
Oh, no. I wasn't probably me.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. Probably worse. I was worse. I'm nicer now, if anything.
Oh, even in the Avril Lavigne video days.
Oh, even as like 5.
Brentley says being bullied was great for me. What?
Oh. That makes sense. I get that.
Okay.
Builds character.
That's true. Thank you, Chris Rowland, Leah, Giorgio, Brentley, Daniel. We send all our love to you guys and to everybody who joined the stream today. Wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe, share, rate, and review. That helps the algorithm. If you don't do that shit, I'm going to keep drowning you fucking ungrateful bastards. I won't use the word faggot because I wouldn't say anything like that.
Will.
I would. All you nigger faggots.
Oh my God. I
can't stop. I can't stop myself. Wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe, share, rate, review. And ladies and motherfucking gentlemen, go follow Mike Harlow at mikeharlow.substack.com or at not Mike Harlow on Twitter. And what's your locals again, baby?
MikeHarlow.locals.com. We're having a Zoom hangout tomorrow, so come hang out with us. Join the family. We've got like our own Discord and all that I'm starting up again.
Nice. Very nice.
I gotta say too, I've sort of like, I feel like I've only kind of consistently gotten back into this more recently. This year, it's my goal to do this full-time, writing and making content. Right. But especially, I think everything that happened 2020, 2021 with the mandates and all that was it was so miserable. I was so miserable, so depressed that like people really don't realize how much people like Chris and Leah and Giorgio like really have kept me going and keep people like us going.
Right. And it circles back to that first part. It's like help. So when we get a little bit of love, even though I got, a post removed, or even if 3, dumb, far right motherfuckers come in swinging, Jesus said you're not supposed to think critically. The majority of the people on my side are really, really on my side. I will end on that high note. You and I have earned our fans, and they're good people. We have good people on our side,
Oh, they're just my friends. I love them. I'm on their side too.
Oh, I don't have time for any of you. Wherever you're listening, subscribe, share, go follow Mike, and
subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't know if I said that.
Yes, I think I tagged you in the YouTube, or you should be tagged in the YouTube. I don't know. But I'll go ahead and put it in the comments. I have
a new video. I don't know if I'm going to post it on Locals or YouTube. I feel like it might get taken off YouTube, but can I tell you real quickly?
Please.
I forgot that this was on there, but so last in October, Chrissy Mayer had a content house in Florida. They just filmed shit for like an entire weekend. So we went out. So I forgot they were filming this whole thing, but we went out to a karaoke bar. And I was like, ooh, there's this hot guy. I'm going to flirt with a stranger. So I did flirt with a stranger. His friend was there, and I think the friend wanted him and was very upset about it and started a bar fight. And my friend had to, so they were filming this whole thing. So I'm just going to like make that its own video story time. I kind of indirect, my flirting caused a bar fight.
And you love it. Don't fuck it. You adore that shit. Exactly. You can't take the survivor out of the girl, okay? You can't take the survivor out of the girl. Love y'all very much, and I'll go ahead and end the broadcast now. Bye, everybody.